What's up, you guys? It's Michael Flix. I'm here outside the hoop house. We're gonna go inside and interview my man Ryan Razooky. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Link Up with Michael Flix. I'm yours truly. Today I'm here with my man Ryan Razooky. Thanks for sitting down with me today, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
As I always say at the beginning of each interview, Link Up is a platform where I sit down with the local San Diego entrepreneurs and give them an opportunity to just tell their story, promote their business, talk about like their plans for the future and just everything that they have going on. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Ryan, you're here from San Diego, right?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised in San Diego?
Yes, sir. All my life.
All right. What high school did you go to?
Steel Canyon.
So you have to go to Steel Canyon?
Yeah, I was at Valhalla my freshman year and then Steel Canyon after that.
Mm-hmm. And so, was your team pretty good when you were there, or middle of the road?
We were all right. Yeah, we were okay.
Yeah. What position were you playing?
1 and 2, mostly 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sorry, I should have said this in the beginning. Ryan's a trainer, pro trainer, high school trainer, any level of basketball training that you need. Ryan's, if not the best, one of the best here in San Diego as far as San Diego basketball training goes. And so, with your high school career, being a guard, were you one of the ones more like one of the guards that the coach kind of sent you, like, we'll talk to Ryan, he kind of knows everything, or like, were you more of like?
I'm being totally honest, from the get-go, to be real, I was not good when I was in high school.
Okay.
I had an amazing IQ and understanding of the game.
Mm-hmm.
My athletic abilities were trash, and my skill was okay. I could shoot it all right, I could dribble it all right, but mentally I didn't have a certain confidence about myself or a swagger. I wasn't the guy who was going to drive in hard or shoot every shot. I was more about, hey, let me set some screens, make some nice passes, sit down in the stands, play defense, shoot when I'm open. I was not a prolific scorer. I was not a prolific player, at least early on in my career.
And so obviously it was just a love for the game that kept you around it.
Yeah, well, like I'm saying, I was super high IQ, so I could always figure out ways to score, figure out ways to play, and I could always keep myself on the floor. But if it came to getting the bucket, I wasn't the guy at the time.
I hear you. And so, I guess that kind of just leads me to asking, was that kind of like having that skill set and that kind of developmental things already there, is that kind of what led you to kind of down the road you're on now?
Absolutely. 100%, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I was always a smart player, and so I love to teach the game, I love to know the game. Of course, like you said, coach would be like, hey, ask Ryan, I knew all the plays, I knew where to be, how to be, where to be, why to be. It's just like when I came off the screen or something, I knew I was supposed to shoot it, but I didn't have the skill to hit that shot. You know what I'm saying? So I knew what to do, where to do, why, but instead I just opted to defer. And so obviously that all helps me a lot with my coaching. But once my skill got up, then that really changed everything.
And so how did your coaching career begin?
So I was in high school and I was coaching. I was always coaching my younger brother. And so my younger brother starts playing club ball.
How much older are you than he is?
5.5 years.
Okay.
So club ball is not as prominent, or wasn't as prominent back then as it is now. Right. Nowadays, everybody with their grandma has their own program.
Right.
But at the time, my brother got invited to go play for a club. So we're like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. A little kid from the rec. Like we didn't know, what any of that was. So my brother starts playing club under Jordan Lawley, who trains in Irvine, who's one of my mentors. And so me, being like 15, 16 years old, I was like, hey, would you mind, is it cool if I just come help you coach? Who's going to say no to free help, right?
Right.
So I was looking at it as an opportunity to learn. And so I would sit there, I'd be there and help him coach a lot. And so the kids, of course, were getting better. I was learning a ton from him, so I was, just continuing to learn something myself. And around the age of like 17 or so, I started training with him and coaching alongside him, so I just kept learning so much. So by my senior year, I got good, but I wasn't all there yet.
You were a junior when you first started helping with him?
Yeah, sophomore.
Okay.
Yeah, sophomore, junior. Yeah, I was about 15 years old.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. And then from there, what did he put you on staff or?
Kind of. So he started to have a lot of other things that were on his plate, and so he was stepping away from the program a lot. So there were certain weeks and months that went by where he never showed up, and I kind of took over all the practices, took over the games, and things like that. But it was a cool relationship that we had. I mean, I was learning a ton from him, but then he started to give me more responsibilities, and being 15, 16-year-old coaching 11, 12-year-olds, that was huge for my maturity, for my responsibility, just learning the game, etc. being able to actually sit down and coach is way different than skills training, like X's and O's and game planning, time to score, and things like that is a lot different. So that gave me a good perspective on those kind of things. And then eventually, as he pursued training full time, he said, "Hey, if you want it, the team is yours." And I said, "Absolutely, I'll take it over." So I had the team by myself for about a year or two or so.
And that was still obviously with him.
No, so he left to do training full time. Yeah,
Okay,
he left to do training full time, and then I took over the team. So I just ran it myself.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't my program, but I was coaching it, so I was getting paid by the organization or whatever. And then I held on to them for about a year, 2 years or so, and actually the timing worked out perfectly. Right as I went into college, they went into high school, so everything kind of disbanded from there in a nice, clean fashion.
Nice. And so how long? Before I get to that, did you have any, with you being a high school basketball player, did you ever have any plans of playing in college?
Yeah, I wanted to, but I knew the reality at the time was kind of like, as I started to approach my senior year, I knew the reality of it was, I was watching some of my teammates who were a lot better than me not getting offers or not getting scholarships, and I'd never understood the type of work that it took to get to that level. I mean, you grow up and you see kids who are 11, 12, 8 years old, and like, yeah, when I'm 18, I'm going to be the NBA, and you're just like that sounds awesome. And I had the same mindset when I was a kid. When you're a kid, you just figure, okay, you go through the ranks, you play high school, you play college, you play, NBA, and that's just, this is a stepping stone. Everybody just does it, right? And so I never understood that, of course. I didn't really understand hard work and what it actually took to get there and all these things. Like the type of grind and how to get better at things. Like you don't just have it, you can go get it. And so yeah, I wanted to play college ball, but when I noticed, while my senior year, it was more about me just playing and working hard to get better. But at that point, I knew I was going to stay home and just study.
I hear you. And so how long have you been working or coaching Jordan's team before you started kind of doing your own thing?
I was with him for about a year and a half, 2 years or so, and then I took over the program by myself for about another year, 2 years or so, somewhere about a year and a half apiece.
And so it's Ryan Razooky basketball. As you can see, we're here at the Hoop House. I guess my question is, how long did it take before you started Ryan Razooky basketball?
I was 18. So it was about a year and a half or so, somewhere around there, yeah. Gotcha. As soon as I stopped coaching the team, because I went to college, I still kept in contact with a lot of those players. Christian Rose being one of them, Yassine being another one.
Nice.
And so for them, I had the opportunity to start to train them. They were like, hey, let's do private lessons, let's do this, let's do that. And for me, I was like, all right, cool, I'll drive wherever, I'll get to any gym, we'll knock down any door we have to, kick out, do whatever we have to do to get some extra work in. Because I got a chance to really see like a change in, them too, and of course all the other players I got to work with, and Dominic Savarta and these guys. So I just wanted to continue putting them on the right path.
And so at that time, was it kind of just whatever gym you can get into, indoor, outdoor type of thing?
Yeah. But I got really lucky because my high school coach, he asked me, he said, if I wanted to coach the freshman program. I was like, no, I'm not really interested in coaching the freshman program. He's like, oh, come on, do it for me for the summer. I was like, all right, I'll do it for the summer, which gave me keys to the gym.
Perfect.
I get keys to the gym. I started opening up every Sunday and just marketing, hey, come do some skills training, super, super cheap, like an hour and a half of just straight work. So people started to spread the word. And a lot of players started coming to these Sunday workouts and stuff. And I would do like little things like, hey, bring a friend, get a t-shirt, bring a friend, get a sock, whatever. So I started learning like business and marketing and this and that and things. And then over the course of time, it just started to grow until I had maybe like 15, 20, 30 players showing up on a Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Speaking of business and marketing, you actually have a very, very large presence on social media, Instagram in particular. You just hit 100,000 followers. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Talk about how social media is how it's helped your business.
Good and bad. Mostly good. Never really think bad. The only bad part, I guess, is like a stigma of being like an Instagram trainer just because you have followers. Like, I would post the same thing if I had 1,000 or 20 million. Like, it doesn't really matter. So I guess that stigma. But I think I've done a really good job of like. I think I told you before. Like, I gave respect from guys like, Marlon Wells and Aaron Bergen and Glenn Worley and some people that I believe is important to get their respect, especially in this industry. But as far as like social media itself, it was a lot easier back then when it first started to grow all your followers and things. Obviously now it's kind of capped those things. So it was cool that I started prior and started posting things. And really, when I was young, my number one goal was just to have a positive impact in as many lives as possible. And so thankfully social media has given me the platform to do that. And now I'm able to put up a ton of videos on Instagram and YouTube and places where people can see those things. And oftentimes, I don't even get a chance to understand how many people I'm reaching until like one day, I had a kid come to my gym and he's like, oh, I was trying to attack the basket, I was trying to finish, and I did something like incorrectly. So another kid pulls me aside, and he's like, "Hey, you should do it like this." And so the kid at my gym, he goes, "You know, where'd you learn that?" He's like, "Oh, I got it on R2B ball on Instagram. Like that's where I found it. It works great for me, so I love it." So, you know, it just makes me think like some random kid that I've never met before in my life, that's never trained with me before. Like, at least he's picking some things up that, you know, even if he can't come to my training or afford my training or whatever it is, at least there's still a way that I can help to reach more people. And then in turn, you never know who they're reaching as well.
Right. As someone who's, you know, sat in on your workouts, filmed your workouts, you actually put me through a workout once before.
Yeah.
I can say firsthand, not that I'm, you know, anybody who knows everything about basketball, but I've been around basketball my whole life. As you know, I used to train myself. You're definitely good at what you're doing. It's one you can see that you're here to make a difference in kids' lives, help kids reach their potential, you know, reach their goals and all that. You can definitely see that you're more than, you know, I wouldn't say more, that you're not an Instagram trainer, that you're a real life trainer.
No, thank you.
And so to get back to your story, like I said, you were moving around pretty much training in whatever gym you could, which is how a lot of trainers start off. Not everyone's blessed to, you know, have a home facility. And so talk about kind of just like the grind and the journey that it took before you were able to, you know, have your own gym here.
I knew two things were true. Work extremely hard and treat people right. So I stuck by those two things, and I just figured if I train forever and do those two things, eventually something will happen. I don't know what it's going to be, I don't know how it's going to end up, but I knew something good was going to happen. So I was in a really lucky position where going to college, I chose my schedule to be at the same time where the kids go to school. So as soon as I get out, they're out, and then we can do some training, which worked out really, really nice. And so, you know, I'd find local gyms, rent out gyms. I had maybe like three club programs that hired me to go train their teams. So the cool thing is all of them started winning championships.
Nice.
All my players started improving, they started, you know, getting, you know, on the paper and this and that, and becoming leaders of the team, et cetera, et cetera. So more people wanted to come train. The issue with that was that I never really had enough gym space. So the gym space I had ended up being like, you know, I got one full court for an hour or whatever, and then I might have 20, 30 people try to show up, and then they were almost dissatisfied just because there's too many people sometimes. And so, you know, I wanted to try to find a way to get more time. And of course, some people wanted private lessons, and I couldn't get a gym just for one person. That's extremely hard. And, you know, so I just kept doing it and doing it forever. And, you know, people came, people left. But I knew that I had some guys who were just loyal to me forever because they saw, you know, what happened over the course of years and years and years and how much better they've gotten. And then I've had other people that just came, you know, a couple of times and they really enjoyed it, or maybe basketball wasn't their sport, for whatever reason, right? But things kept growing. So things kept growing. I kept building my name. I kept, you know, reaching out to as many people, going to as many events as I could, going to as many games as I could. You know, just promoting my players as much as I could. And, over the course of 5 years, I did every single thing I could, making sure that I tried to train at least one person a day, or at least get out to a court or do something every single day just to continue building. I didn't know what it was going to be. There wasn't a monetary, like, you know, direct deposit into my account every single day off training and stuff like that. But I just knew those two things were true. Just work hard and treat people right. And eventually one day this fell into my lap.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so talk about you know, how much of a blessing this space has been for you and how you've been able to just kind of grow and do more with your space.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, the ability to have 24/7 access without having to ask anybody in the world is unmatched. It's totally unmatched. I'll never ever walk into a gym again and have someone have to kick me out because it's a rental. I'll never have to ask anybody to run a camp. I'll never have to ask anybody if it's okay if I go early or stay late, or I'll never have to ask anybody about their schedules or my schedule to see if things link up. I can be here at any moment that I want to. And to have that, like, you know, for instance, Mark, you know, going to play pro this year, or going to G League this year, he's staying a month longer than he normally would. And so normally, like, we'd be trying to get into 24-hour fitness, or hitting up high school coaches or college coaches, or seeing whatever random gym we can get into to work. And obviously there'd be no consistency there. You know, we just try, like, at least get in a couple times a week. But now, Mark's like, hey, what time do you want to go tomorrow? Hey, what time do you want to go? Perfect, I'll see you, I'll meet you there. And I can come open up the door anytime I want to. Be able, like, Josiah and Alex, for instance, that you saw today, they're out of school for 2 weeks. So, pull up to my gym, come let's work. You know, we got 2 straight weeks to work while the other kids are in school because they're going year round. And, like, literally anytime, you know, y'all seen might hit me up one day and be like, hey, can we go 6 a.m.? Or Johnny, hey, can we go 6 a.m.? And I don't have to ask anybody for a gym. I can just open the doors myself. There's nothing like it, you know. Labor Day, Memorial Day comes around, I'm like, cool, I want to run a camp. Open up the door, right? And I can run a camp, make a flyer. I don't have to ask anybody. There's nothing like that, you know. And then even the ability to have 150 players come through here every single week and get better. I never had those opportunities before to help that many people. It baffles me every single day.
I can tell, like, I mean, obviously, I can tell, like, you love it when you're excited, but even just like the look of you talking about that, your face just like lights up even more just when you talk about that.
You just gotta imagine, like, trainers and stuff, and how hard it is to get gym space. And so to have to, like, I just remember having to, like, call people and text people and make sure, can I get the gym? Yes, okay, confirm this, confirm this, confirm this. I don't have to do any of that. I know today at 4 o'clock who's coming, at 5 o'clock who's coming, at 6. I know people are coming every single day. And then for even people who are like, hey, but it never rains here, but hey, it's raining. Is there something going on? Yes, there's always something going on. There's always an opportunity for, practice got canceled. Do you have something going on? Yes, there's an opportunity for you to get better. And so, also being able to have a place, I'm also able to spread out more classes, keep the class as a smaller, open up more opportunities where now players are coming in and can work out not just once a week, where I can only afford to rent out a gym once or twice a week, but now I can open up a gym 7 days a week. So it's like, you want to come 3, 4, 5 times a week, your life can change really, really fast.
And so talk about kind of just your plan moving forward with your training company, your facility here. Just talk about like what, I guess, like your big scale plan.
Yeah. So right now I have one of my former players helping me, Christopher London. He played at Kearney. He was going to Gross Point. He decided no longer to play, but he still loves to be around the game. Very similar to how I got into it. So he was coaching still, and I brought him on and said, hey, why don't you come out and help here? Which has been amazing for me because now, having more eyes, I can make it. Not necessarily smaller groups, because there are pretty small groups too, but now just being able to have more coaches on each kid is awesome, right? So they're getting a little bit more individual attention so they can develop and grow faster. Perfect, awesome. Having my younger brother here, he's been able to help out, and same thing, more eyes, more coaches, more teaching, more individual instruction, players get better faster. So those things have been phenomenal. Really what I want to do is open up more classes. So the more classes that I open up, the smaller classes that I can have, but the more people that can come in, all good things to happen, more sustainable schedule, and more opportunity. Hey, I missed the classes or availability. Yes, I can throw you into these classes. It's not full because it's all small. There's more things that I can do to really make sure that people are getting the most value out of the time that they're here, right? That's important. But then the next step is, like something we've talked about before, I want to use my social media platform to push all my guys through media as much as I can. Whether it be Yassine or even Alex Crawford, who got that really nice dunk, and I was able to post that and help him. I don't care who it is, but any player that I train, I want to do the most I can to give them the skill development. That's number one, help them to be good. But if I can use my social media to, to help them be known and get exposure and stuff, why not?
Absolutely. I think that was all I had for you today. No, my last question was, if you could, who's your dream client? If you could train like anybody on any level, high school, pro, whatever, who's like your dream client?
Kobe, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, 100% Kobe. I grew up watching Kobe. I studied all his footwork, and so I think it would be a great mesh for us just to work and train. Honestly, he'd be training me more than I'd be training him. But I think it'd be really, really good to see kind of, for me at least, because when you train people, you kind of tailor it towards the vibe, the mood, and how things are going, right? If you're good. If you're good. Yeah, and obviously getting a chance to work with Kobe, like I've heard from other people that have worked with Kobe, different things, how he works out and how it's different than most of the kids, and the kind of the different style that I teach them. And would I love to put everybody through a Kobe workout? Absolutely, but not everybody can handle that. Not everybody loves basketball that way, or not everybody has the same way of reaching that that love for it, passion or whatever, right? And so I think it'd be amazing to work with Kobe. I think I'd be learning so much. I'm not sure how much I can teach him, but I'd love to bounce ideas back and forth. And when you work with pros, it's less about teaching and more about fine tuning and just small details here and there. Same thing with Usama to work with Johnny too. It wasn't like I'm sitting in about every single detail of footwork. It's more about, no, I need you to get here and make these reads, you go through these repetitions, because this is what you're going to see when you play. This is your style, so I know you're not going to do these certain moves. I know where you're going to be effective in playing off these certain moves and stuff. So,
gotcha. That was all I have for you today, man. I thank you. I appreciate you for sending it out for me, man. We've been trying to talk about doing this a while, and we finally got it done. So thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, because like I said, the most important thing for me is being able to do as much as I can. And I always feel like there's more that I can do, which is kind of scary. So, as far as scaling things and helping things grow, I just want to continue to treat people right and do work as hard as I can. I'd love to travel all over the world and train all over the world, of course, and just be able to reach more and more people. So,
like I said, man, it's easy to tell, man. You're very genuine, dude. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. It means a lot. Yes, sir.